Something that the public often gets wrong about corrections is the stigma that they are all the same. They are hardened criminals, they chose to get into this. There's something about the self-righteousness that's just a part of humanity that it makes easier for us to accept them receiving harsh conditions if we can draw that line a lot more starkly, saying that they made an accountable decision, they're accountable for their decision, I didn't make that decision. And the problem is very often in life, as we go through life, we see mistakes that we make, and it can happen in a split second. It can be a divorce that devastates someone who drinks too much and gets in a car accident, a DUI that someone died in, boom, 20 years on a sentence. He never intended that to happen. So many say, I can't believe I did what I did. And we call it the backstory of rage. Where's the origin of rage, of anger? Where out of a split second, someone who is normal and has a normal life bursts out and does something horrific. Everyone sees what was done horrific, but they don't see what was done to that person to cause such a rage and an anger and a frustration. And we don't really want to deal with it, so it's far easier to just kind of create that line of good people and bad people. In prison is where bad people are, and society is where good people are. Where the truth is, all of us are the same. Humanity is the same. What we have noticed also with those that work in corrections, the COs, those that understand this, have a much better and more stable mental health. Those that don't fully understand this, and sometimes people get into corrections not understanding corrections, and they're caught up in the knee-jerk reaction of, he did this, I just saw his file, he deserves this, I'm gonna give what he deserves. It's fear ultimately of they could lash out, they could do this, and so I have to treat them, I have to keep a distance, I have to be hard. And it's not really their fault. No one's at fault in that. The only thing that could be at fault is a lack of training or a lack of education of an individual. And as the years go by, they continue in this stigma and in this thinking, and they get hardened in it. And that does great harm to their personal mental health. They got to work in this atmosphere that they're creating or has been created before them by other senior officers. And that has a deep impact because they're not just working 40 hours a week, they're working 60, 80 hours a week, pushed to their max, exhausted, tired, dealing with all these very hard situations. And so the only way to bear such mental stress is a compassion that's given, and ultimately it is reciprocated. As you treat men as men, they treat you back as a man. As you treat man as he needs to be caged, as he needs to be separated from society, as in some cases an animal I've seen in third world nations, they begin to act that way, and they leave far worse than when they got there because the conditions are so appalling. All of these factors create the atmosphere that you're going into work every single day. Anytime there's a pivot towards compassion, towards kindness, towards love, it's not vulnerability. It is the change that really needs to take place.